Sound Art is a product that is a speaker and it's art. We combine it together and we call it Sound Art. What makes it so unique that any picture can be your speaker? Sound Art gives you the high quality sound without the ugly speaker. This isn't a picture with a speaker, the picture is the speaker. Just imagine your wedding picture uploaded onto a canvas and now it's speaking 10,000 tunes. I mean, it's a very cool concept. What we like so much about it that you can take anything that means something very special to you, upload it on the canvas, have it hanging up in your room, your balcony, wherever you want to put it, and now it's a speaker. I mean, how cool is that? It's something that we have that and no one has. No one has this product. It's just a great gift to give anybody. It's just a neat concept. Around here we say, art never sounded so good.
After months of quarantine, we're all interested in how we can become our best self. The team at Permanent Makeup and Cryo is here to help you get the flawless makeup look every day without the extra effort or time. When it comes to your appearance, you deserve the best care that money can buy.
Welcome, race fans, to PitStop TV. Hayes Booth joins me on the mic this evening. Trey Shuttlesworth is on our social media coverage. My name is Andrew Cardinale IV, and this is PitStop TV's live coverage of Cross Series League racing. As we know, you have many options to watch sim racing action. We thank you for choosing PitStop TV and tuning in on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter. 2 races into our stay with Cross Series League racing, it's an early spring trip to virtual Florida. Lakeland, Florida looks great this evening, March 21st, 2021, as a field of 360 sprint cars descend upon the 3/4 mile paperclip oval. Hayes, we've seen a lot of Adam Thompson atop the scoring pylon thus far, amassing 5 straight wins going back to the paved oval section of the schedule. But with new talent joining the fray, is this possibly the evening that we see David beat Goliath?
Yeah, Andrew, I think heading into this race we heard Adam, say last week he doesn't feel particularly great at USA, but he's had some time to practice. He's had time to get laps under his belt and get a feel for the car, get a feel for the track. So who knows, we could see him get that sixth win in a row tonight, but we'll just have to see what happens. And there could be some tough competition. This is really, the top lane is usually where you want to be at this racetrack. It's just all about, trying to manage it, trying to stay off that wall and seeing what you can do. But I definitely think Adam Thompson is going to be a threat once again here tonight, but I don't know if his skepticism shows anything. It may not happen, it might. We'll just have to see.
And on top of his own skepticism, on top of his own anxiety, as per usual going into a race, I talked with Adam a little bit during the week, And we've got like I said, new talent joining the fray, some new drivers joining the series mid-season, much like we did just a few weeks ago, and that is going to change things up. He's definitely watching his tail, he's watching his mirror, he is watching for those guys to possibly challenge him this evening. We'll see how it all goes down over the course of this evening's events. Thank you again for joining PitStop TV. Let's take a look at our point standings coming into this evening, talking about Adam Thompson with 5 straight wins. There you go, atop the scoring pylon, even in the point standings, and by almost 2 races. Look at that. He could miss the next 2 races. Mike Sorum could win the next 2 races, and Adam Thompson would only be 3 points behind Mike Sorum. That is incredible. The fact that Adam Thompson has just put himself this far ahead of the rest. Mike Sorum there in second place, actually passing Jerry DiPiero last week at Eldora. That puts Jerry into the 3rd spot despite his 1 race win, I believe, in the season opener with the Indy cars. And then you see Robert Schwenkler, Tyler Coates, Clayton Elborn, and the rest making up the rest of the field. Look at that, James Truitt just ahead of James Howard. I thought that was interesting when I made the graphic earlier today. To James, 7th and 8th. As we come into round number 8, this will mark halfway on the season, and this will also mark the end of our dirt oval section of the schedule. Speaking of that schedule, let's take a look at it here, Hayes. Again, going all the way back to Indy cars, the DW12, the old Indy cars at Charlotte and Phoenix. We've had a very interesting schedule so far. We joined these guys with the Dirt Street Stocks at Lima Land Motorsports Park on March 7th. Now it's March 21st. We got 360 sprint cars here at USA International Speedway. We've got the Pro 2 Lights joining us next week at Charlotte Motor Speedway. A whole lot to look forward to in the back half of this season.
Yeah, and that's something that I mentioned last week, but I feel like I need to say it again. With this league, the thing that I feel like makes this league the most unique is, in the time that I've been on iRacing, this is the first league that I've seen that has had this much of a variety in the tracks that they race at and the cars that they drive, which I feel like really gives every driver a chance, because every driver is good at their own certain car or their own certain track. This gives a lot of drivers in the league a chance to get good performances, move up through the points. And you can see, this transition, in the next week is going to be very different. We have, this flat dirt oval with loose sprint cars. We're going from that to Pro 2 light trucks at a rallycross course, which is a whole different transition. It's a road course with essentially tighter trucks, and that's just going to be, it's going to be interesting to see how these drivers handle that transition.
The other thing that'll be interesting, well, this evening is qualifying wrapping up, and this will head us into our, heat race. You can see Pearson on top of the scoring pylon. We'll talk about more of our heat race lineups, right now, because Ryan Pearson is going to lead us to the green flag here. Rylan Pearson. How about that? Rylan Pearson leading us to the green flag for heat number 1 here at the USA International Speedway. I'll talk more on the heat and feature format momentarily. Mike Sorum will roll off second place here in the first heat. The bottom side of row number 2, Jerry DiPiero on the 44 car, then Robert Schwenkler in the 235 on the outside of row number 2. The inside of row number 3, it's going to go to Tyler Coates in the 407, James Truitt alongside of him. In the back row here of heat number 2 at heat number 1 at the USA International Speedway, it's Chet Duranick and Scott Benavidez. Now, I mentioned the heat and feature format here, Hayes. It's an interesting one. We're actually throwing in a couple of, obviously heat's like normal, but the interesting part is when you get down to the B main, the consolation, if you will. It's going to act as just a way for these guys to run some extra laps. Now, I've got the details in front of me. Practice 10 minutes, we just got through that. Qualifying 2 laps, 5 minutes, we just got through that as well. Heats, there's 3 of them, 8 laps apiece. 4 will transfer in from each heat. Then the B main, an opportunity for some of these drivers to get a few extra laps down. We'll have 30 laps in the B main if we so need it. 3 will transfer in from there, and that will give us a total of 15 drivers maximum in the feature race in the A main this evening. So it's a lot to kind of work with here. I think the 3 heats pretty normal, and that gives us an opportunity for what it looks like. If we have 8 drivers, the most would be 24. How many do we have this evening? It's looking like possibly more closer to 16 possibly. We'll see how it all works out. But again, this the Heat 1 field, and Rylan Pearson on pole, the 3/4 mile USA International Speedway. It's going to be treacherous for these guys. We'll see how it all works out in just a moment.
Yeah, there's going to be definitely going to be some guys, being disappointed with their runs tonight, possibly not going to be able to make the main event, but that's why we have these races, see who's the fastest. Whichever guys are the fastest, those are the guys that you're going to see in the main event. That's one of the things that I like the most about dirt racing, is it has small races to decide who makes it to the big race, see who's the fastest. So we'll see what happens here as we come to the green here in heat number 1, 8 laps, see who transfers.
As Hayes said, 8 laps the distance for 8 cars apiece in heat number 1. You got some partners left side of your screen. Take a look at those guys as we get ready to go green flag racing for the first time here on March 21st. It's a nice Sunday evening here in virtual Lakeland, Florida. We're off and away racing in heat number 1. Rylan Pearson working the bottom side, already a massive lead through 1 and 2. Now to turn 4 for the first time this evening. The whole field pretty nice and orderly actually. First lap, and things just sorting themselves out quite nicely. Mike Soren with a charge from Jerry DiPiero. The 44 actually falling back a little bit now, and Robert Schwenkler even has fallen into the 4th spot. James Truitt there in 5th. Everything very spread out so far.
Yeah, they are pretty spread out here so far. You can see they're actually ripping the bottom here, trying to get some grip in on the bottom lane as we complete lap number 2. Pearson pulling away by about 0.7 of a second over Mike Sorm. As you can see, Robert Schwenkler moves into the 3rd position over Truitt. We got somebody slow on the apron, actually.
And that is Jerry DiPiero. This is an open setup series. It looks like he only put enough fuel in to qualify. I dare say he is out of fuel here in the heat. And boy, that'll teach you really, really quickly to make sure you refuel the car, and he's going to be stopped in the grass on the front stretch. I don't think we'll draw a yellow from that, thankfully, as Rylan Pearson continues to dominate heat number 1. 4 laps in the books. He's led them all.
Yeah, that's something that we see quite a bit in dirt, sprint car racing with these heats. Drivers try to put as little bit of fuel as they can, but it just ends up being, ends up not being enough, and they end up running out of fuel, in the heat, which just sets them back even more. So really unfortunate for Piero. As you can see, as they complete lap number 5, Pearson continuing to hold on to his lead. Mike Storm trying to see if he can run him down.
The Rays Energy 99 sprint car off into turn number 3 sets the slide, working the bottom side, and I think that's going to be what we see through the entirety of this evening until this track slicks way off. Now, we do reset the track. We kind of treat the track before the feature races, so that will change things up as well. I think we'll see bottom feeding most of the evening. Coming to the final lap momentarily, Rylan Pearson continuing to just lead the way in this first heat. Tyler Coates will be the first one out if we do enact our transfers. And he gets James Truitt. Big contact here for the transfer battle, and he's going to let James gather it back up. Tyler Coates, great sportsmanship there. Rylan Peterson already into 3 and 4 for the final time, and he's going to come around and collect Heat Race 1 victory. Further back there, Hayes, you see James hangs on to that transfer spot over Tyler Coates. Now again, with the car count, I'm not sure exactly if we're going to see that transfer spot enforced this evening, but it's worth noting James Truitt beats out Tyler Coates, Scott Benavidez, and more above the transfer position. 8 cars lined up here for heat number 2. We'll walk you through the starting grid. Up front, look at that, Adam Thompson on pole here for the second heat this evening. Danny Kelly will roll off from the 2nd position. Starting 3rd here in heat number 2 is going to be Stuart Gray in the 2 car. Then Bobby Ross in the 48 rolls off from 4th position. Starting 5th, it's Clayton Elborn on the 19. Then Lucas Finko in the 007, licensed to kill. And Danny Chandler will roll off in the 7th spot with Daniel Moon in the 8th position in the number 88. 8 cars again lined up to go 8 laps the distance.
Yep, we'll see if that first heat changed anything a little bit with the track. Actually, you said earlier, the track kind of resets, so we'll see what these drivers do, see if they'll be any more aggressive than they were in the first heat. But I think we're going to see some of the same stuff. A lot of guys, ripping the bottom and probably going to be spread out, but we'll just have to see and find out.
Well, and that's the interesting thing here, is we actually carry the track over from heat to heat because it is considered the same heat session. But once we go into our B main, then our A main, we'll treat the racetrack. We'll try and keep this thing from getting too slicked off. That's what we've noticed in the last few weeks, and that's going to continue here this evening. So we're not really going to build up that slick that a lot of sprint cars usually like. It's going to be very, very interesting to see these guys battle that difference of dynamic, if you will. We've seen in the BRP iRacing series, for example, where those guys they get a very slick racetrack come a main time. Not so the case here for Cross Series League Racing. While we have a quick moment, I want to thank the series partners here, of course, Nexus Fab, Dangerous, Lake Town Creations, Crohn's and Colitis Foundation, and Allied Esports Racing Series, and of course our partners here as well at PitStop TV, Sound Art of Tucson, Race Pace Setups, Permanent Makeup and Cryo in Maine, and Whiplash Media. Ready to go racing once more, this time for heat number 2. Once we do so, the field rolling into turn number 1, watching from our turn 3 camera high above the speedway, and we're ready to turn these guys loose for 8 more laps. 8 more cars, again, set to do it. Adam Thompson will lead us to the green flag. Then it's again Danny Kelly, Stuart Gray, Bobby Ross, Clayton Elborn, Lucas Finko, Danny Chandler, and Daniel Moon. Hayes, let's do it all over again.
Yep, we'll see what happens. We'll see if Adam can continue his speed here. We'll kind of see how his car handles in these 8 laps. Obviously, 8 laps isn't that much time, but we will get a little bit of an idea of the pace that he might have tonight. He's on the pole for the heat race. We'll see how he can perform throughout these 8 laps as we come to the green flag.
Coming to the second green flag of the evening, we're going to turn these guys loose. Green flag in the air, waiting for it to wave for their signal. There we go, green flag flying. We are off and racing for heat 2. Big contact already.
Oh.
Clayton Elborn in it. There was, Bobby Ross, I think maybe as well. Lucas Finko, a lot of damage. One car spinning around to the backside of the field. We continue racing up front, but a lot of cars already disadvantaged here in the second of, well, possibly 3 heats. Adam Thompson leading the way out of turn number 2. He's got Gray in behind.
Yeah, that was Moon and the number 88 that we saw go spinning and hit that inside wall. He's already out of this heat, not even half a lap into it. Very unfortunate for him. As we see Gray and the number 2 machine trying to run down Adam Thompson. They're going to run the bottom here as we go on board with Adam Thompson. He's working his way really well through 1 and 2.
Down the back stretch, this is lap number 3. Stuart Gray starting to put some heat there on the 244, and Stuart joined the Discord today. He's got a heck of a car as he drives down to the bottom side. He might make a move here in 1. Adam Thompson, that's something you don't usually see in dirt racing. He is mirror driving, and he put a block there on the 2 car. It's not quite going to work out. Stuart Gray drives right down to the bottom side of the backstretch and is going to go right on by that 244.
Yeah, he got a great run through the middle of both corners. Gave him a little bit of a nudge there in 1 and 2. Was able to get by, but both drivers are still going straight. A good move by Gray and that number 2 machine. 4 laps to go here in the first heat race. Thompson trying to fight back.
Back around that transfer spot, Clayton Elborn currently holds the position over Bobby Ross, and that Jeff Gordon looking 48 car. Bobby Ross going to drive to the bottom side, almost contact, and Elborn going to wash up into the marbles. I say marbles, wash up into the loose stuff, the loose dirt that's been kicked up there, up into the, man, I can't think, up over the cushion, certainly jumping the cushion, and Bobby Ross will then drive right on by. So it's all down to Thompson and Stewart. Oh my gosh, and Stuart Gray gets turned. How about Danny Kelly, though, driving on by for the race lead?
Yeah, Danny Kelly was, I guess you could say, the Kyle Busch in that situation. He was able to capitalize on those 2 making contact and get on by. He is pulling away with it now, and it's looking like coming to the white flag, he might be able to steal the victory here in this heat.
Hey, Stuart Gray is fast, though, bad fast. That 2 car is driven up to the race lead once more. We'll see if he can do it in just 3/4 of a mile this time. He's got a half second to make up. Stuart Gray trying to work on it. That time, big bobble into 1. I don't think he can do it. Adam Thompson reeling that 2 car in once more. This is for the final time in heat number 2. Stuart Gray down to the bottom side. Can't quite get the race lead. Can Adam Thompson take second place back away? Danny Kelly wins heat 2. Gray holds it over Thompson. Bobby Ross going to come in and take the final transfer spot. Then Clayton Elborn, Lucas Finko, Denny Chandler, and Daniel Moon. A lot of Daniels and Dannys in heat number 2, and one of them wins. It's Danny Kelly taking the checkered flag, and we'll see if we end up with a heat number 3 momentarily. 8 cars in both of those, and hey, we do have a third. No, this is a B main. This is a B main. This is 30 laps, so 16 cars have shown up this evening. What's interesting about this, then, Hayes, is 1 driver will go home. 1 driver out of this B main field will be sent packing. Let's take a look at our starting grid. Starting first, it is Tyler Coates in the 407. Clayton Elborn there in the 2nd spot. Starting third is Scott Benavidez in the 82 car. Then Lucas Finko in 4th. Chet Duranic going to roll off in 5th. Danny Chandler in 6th place. Jerry DiPiero will roll off from 7th with Daniel Moon in the 8th position after, well, trouble striking there in heat number 2. Hayes, we've got our first elimination since coming on with these guys. 1 driver's going home.
Yeah, I think the fact that there's only one driver going home both takes some of the pressure away, but adds more pressure because think one of these guys has to go home. So being, whoever it is, knowing that you are the only one going home, that's just gonna make it even more frustrating knowing that it's just you and everyone else gets to race. That's gonna add to the frustration for whoever goes home here tonight.
Absolutely going to add to the frustration for whichever driver it is that does get cut. The good news is, for the top 7, 8th place, Daniel Moon has not taken to the starting grid this evening. He did not run Heat 2 that we just saw, and he has not connected and taken to the racetrack here in the B main. So this 30 laps could be just a test session for these 7 drivers left on the racetrack. That is certainly what you want to hear. If you are Tyler Coates, Clayton Elborn, Scott Benavidez, Lucas Vinco, etc., with Duranic, Chandler, and DiPiero behind, certainly great news for everybody aside from Daniel Moon.
Yeah, I guess, if that's the case, that will take away from the pressure. So this can, if that is the case, we can just, consider this a 30-lap race just to test, get things ready for the main event right after this, which is definitely gonna relieve some of the stress from these guys.
And if you're Jerry DiPiero, these are 30 laps you need to be able to finish dialing in your car if you've not done so just yet. I mean, he ran out on lap 2, lap 3 of Heat 1, so he needs these 30 laps to make sure he is ready to go for 30 laps of feature racing in the A main, and that is what will pay points this evening, of course. As we get ready for the B main this evening, of course, another thank you to Nexus Fab, Dangerous, Lake Town Creations, Crohn's and Colitis Foundation, and Allied Esports Racing Series. Ready to go back at it for the third green flag of the evening. This is your B main from the USA International Speedway. Out of turn number 4, Tyler Coates in control of the field. And it's Clayton Elborn, Scott Benavidez, Lucas Vinco, Chet Duranic, the top 5, waiting on the green flag to fly. There it is. Waving the green flag is Barney the Flagman. We're off and racing at USA. Already contact. Elborn on the fence. Big caution already.
Oh man, isn't that the second week in a row that we've seen somebody riding the fence trying to get around the track?
Certainly not the conventional way to do things, as we talked about last week, Hayes, but whatever gets you around turns 1 and 2, I suppose. Unfortunately for Clayton Elborn, he does so up on the outside wall and the outside catch fence. Let's take some more looks back at it. So coming to the start this evening, Clayton Elborn, the outside of row number 1. The field kind of tightening up. There they go. They launch. And something's going to happen here with Coates and Elborn. And Elborn just goes up the racetrack into Coates. I think that's all on Clayton.
Yeah, it almost looked like, he tried to make a move down to the inside. And Oates may have come down a little bit, but I think, that was mostly on Clayton. Tried to be a little too aggressive too early, and that's definitely going to cost him.
And it looks like we are, in fact, counting caution laps here in the B main, as we are now on to lap 3 of 30. So that puts Scott Benavidez into the race lead, and it moves Tyler Coates down to 5th. Now, I'm not sure if that was, no, it's not penalty driven. In fact, I think Coates took a faster pair because he did come down the pit lane. Looks like it was 1.6 seconds served. And, well, that was in the pit box. The entire lane time was 24 seconds. So Tyler Coates has visited the pit lane, and that will move him back to 5th position once we get going here in about a lap's time.
Yeah, we'll see if he can get back up here. Yeah, I think you're right. We're going to go back here back green here in about a lap or two. So he's going to restart in 5th. We'll see if he's got enough time to get back up to the front. But it looks like he's going to have about 35, 36 laps to do it.
So lap 4 now of 30, and based on the drivers, I can't quite tell yet if we're going single file or double file restarts, but they will pack up and line up as they need to, and it does look like we'll be doubling up with Chandler to the outside of Benavidez, and that will be row number 1. DiPiero will be, looks like, on the outside of Lucas Finko for row number 2, then Coates, Elborn, Duranic, the rest of the B main field. Coming back to the green flag, this time for the second time in the B main, you're seeing a little bit of rubber starting to grow on the top side of the racetrack. There we go, green flag racing once more. We are off and away, lap 4 of 30. And Benavidez sideways loses second place. DiPiero on through. He's going to take that spot over. Benavidez now, oh my gosh, in the grass.
Oh man, there goes the 007 into the wall. He's going to spin around and go on his lid or on his side. And that's going to be a caution. Oh man, not a good chain of events for Lucas Finko. Let's take a look at how that happened here.
It looked like a reaction to Scott Benavidez up in front, where Scott just, he just drove to the apex about 500 feet before the corner. And yeah, I think Lucas is going for a similarly low entry, and once Scott slowed up on the bottom side, of course, he couldn't occupy the same space, and Finko had to take evasive action. Unfortunately, that put Finko hard on the outside wall and to the back of our field here in the B main. And yeah, he's in the pit lane, and problems then for the 007. Elborn lost, it looks like 3 laps under the previous yellow after towing. Chet Duranic now 4 laps down after a tow as well. So those two drivers are reasonably out of this, I would say. It looks like, there we go, Scott Benavidez is being thrown to the back of our pacing field. So race control weighing in, it looks like they agree.
Yeah, I really don't think that's a bad call, to be completely honest. And, that was definitely good reaction time by Finko. He did what he had to do. He had to turn, the opposite direction. Try to go high, but it just, didn't quite have enough room to make it work. He, hooks the wall and goes up on his side. Really unfortunate for that 007. But Chandler in the number 13 machine doing a good job leading the race right now. He was able to build up a little bit of a gap there in those few green flag laps that we had. We'll see if he can continue that here on this next restart.
We've already mentioned a couple of times these wonderful partners here with Cross Series League Racing, Nexus Fab, Precision Welding and Metal Fabrication, Dangerous, which we play their ad alongside our own to start and to close these broadcasts. Of course, Lake Town Creations as well. Crohn's and Colitis Foundation. Now, they are on that list thanks to a donation, actually, from Chet Duranic, who is, in the 7th spot this evening, but there is the number 420. Duranic, again, running 7th, 4 laps down, but he's still got an opportunity to do great things in our A main, and I'm sure he will. And, I'm not really a college sports fan, but is that Nebraska then on that car? I dare say that's what the N is. I could be wrong. Again, I don't watch college sports, but hey, certainly supporting whatever team that may be. And coming to the green flag then for lap number 9 of 30, we'll take lap 10 as, well, they really debated who was going to go. Side by side, 1 and 2. The top side, DiPiero takes the race lead. Slow behind, it looks like, was possibly Benavidez. I'm not exactly sure. Now Chandler to the top side, and he's got company from Elborn, who was laps down, and they're starting to work things out.
Yeah, Chandler got a good run there off of turn 4 down to the inside of Piero. He's going to try to throw it in there. Can't quite make it work. Piero gets a good run around the outside, looking to pull away from the lead. And then we have Elborn right behind Chandler, trying to get by and maybe get one of his laps back.
There's a big difference here with Danny Chandler's wing compared to some others. He's got the wing laid back, and that's going to help steady the car out. That's going to help tighten the car out a little bit, move the balance a little bit more rearward, and basically just keep the car from getting a little bit looser. I believe that would be correct. Trey Shuttlesworth is probably screaming at me saying, oh, something's different, because he's definitely part of PA Posse and loves these sprint cars, but I do believe that is how the adjustment works with the wing. Again, these open setup races with these 360 sprints give us that different dynamic that we don't always see with racing here on the iRacing.com service. Caution flag out, it's Tyler Coates.
Oh man, up on his side here. We have another one spun out. I believe that's the 82 machine. Let's go to the replay here and see if we can't figure out how this was caused.
And this will again help illustrate my point about the wing. You can see Coates' wing is moved further forward, changing the balance of his race car. He's racing here with Lucas Finko into turn 1. And, oh my gosh, Finko just got sideways, just got loose.
Yeah, he just lost it there in the corner. Oh, and a hard hit on the front end of that 82 machine. Had nowhere to go. Yeah, just multiple hard hits here in that. But I think Tyler Coates took the brunt of the impact.
Finko here running on board of him, just gets loose on the bottom side around, and nowhere then for Scott Benavidez to go. Slammed into the upside, well, sideways 407. I say sideways not because he was spun around, sideways because you can see him right there
literally
trying
sideways.
to get unturtled, yeah.
Yeah, he had multiple hits, one on the left side and then one on the bottom side of his car as he, landed on his side from the 82. So that brings out the caution once again here at about the halfway point. This time by will be 15 laps down, 15 to go, and the 44 holds the lead.
And this illustrates the difficulties you have here at USA International Speedway, of course. This track was never actually covered in dirt. It's very interesting because when iRacing went through and added USA dirt and Lanier dirt, well, Lanier used to be a dirt track way back when, but USA was not so. It was always a pavement track. It was always a pretty good pavement track as well. Hosted Hooters Pro Cup back in the day and almost served as like the home base for them. But it just doesn't quite. I don't know. It's a very interesting dirt track, and there's certainly mixed opinions. I like it because it changes things up. It's very fast. It's almost like those flat 1-milers you have in the Midwest. But it just. I don't know. It's very interesting, certainly for these sprint cars. It was also very interesting for BRP's big block mods. It's not necessarily bad racing, but I think you've got to get the field spread out. You've got to slick the track off, and you've got to get some green flag racing for USA to truly shine, and not just because the track gets shiny once it is rubbered up. Jerry DiPiero is the race leader. We'll come back around to the green flag. This will take us on to lap 17 out of 30. And it's Chandler on the outside, Benavidez in third, then Elborn in fourth, 3 laps down. So 3 cars still on the lead lap. We go back out. Chandler, an amazing drive down to the bottom side to DiPiero down the backstretch, and he's going to make a big move into 3. Slide job. Do we see a crossover? No. DiPiero drives right back to the outside. Contact, they're wrecking.
Oh, and around goes DiPiero hard into the inside wall. Oh, and he almost gets hit once again, and that's going to bring out the caution. Yeah, it looked like Chandler just kind of tried to squeeze him. I'm not really sure. They made contact, and hard into the wall goes DiPiero. Let's go to the replay once again here. Try to diagnose this.
Nobody told these guys this is only the B main. They are racing like it's for all the marbles. Chandler on the bottom side there. And you see DiPiero drive right back to the outside, and that's just 2 cars running out of room. They were certainly just racing hard at that point. I don't think that can really be put on either driver. DiPiero, I think, came off the wall a tiny bit because that's what happens when you're holding a car sideways, right? And you've got all that power to the rear wheels, and it suddenly, you have to straighten out. And it just drives down the racetrack a little bit because of the way the car is angled. So nothing Jerry did wrong by any stretch of the imagination. And Danny Chandler's just trying to race for that spot.
Yeah, it was just 2 drivers coming together. I want to look on board of the, I believe it was the 420, because he had a very close near miss with that 44 machine.
That was Chet Duranek, and we can do so real quick while these guys pace under caution flags. Duranek was back here, and Duranek is 6th spot. He is now still 4 laps down, but he's passed Tyler Coates and on the same lap as Lucas Finko. He had his own troubles up out of the corner, and boy, look at that.
Whoa.
Just barely turns right in time to miss the spun 44 car.
Yeah, very close. I'd say there was maybe a foot between each car. So, yeah, that brings out caution once again. It looks like we're going to restart with about 9 laps to go, I believe.
Pace car lights are still on. This would give us 10. So, yes, that we should have about 9 laps remaining once we go back green flag racing. Benavidez is now promoted to the 2nd position as DiPiero lines up in the 3rd spot. What's interesting here for Scott, though, is look at this. There's no front wing on that sprint car. Now, if this was a non-wing, that'd be totally fine, but you can see the bar for the top wing up on the top right of your screen. So this is not at all what you want to see if you're Scott Benavidez, and depending on where his cockpit is angled and everything, his cockpit camera in the sim, it's hard to say whether or not he can actually tell. It looks like Jerry DiPiero is being allowed to go back up to the race lead.
Yeah,
it looks like,
I guess.
I guess Jerry DiPiero will retake the race lead, just resetting those guys up front, and he will bring us to the green flag once more. Danny Chandler in tow. This will take us to 9 laps remaining, and waiting on the green flag from the starter. We're back off and racing here at USA. Down the backstretch, Chandler, a similarly strong drive to the bottom side. We'll see it all repeat once more. Chandler working the inside, that time not quite as strong into the corner, and they will stay a single file up front. Benavidez further back, he's got problems. He is definitely not handling as he needs to.
Yeah, he's kind of... Alright, so we see DiPiero starting to pull away to the lead here a little bit by about 4 or 5/10 of a second over Chandler. 7 laps remain. Benavidez kind of falling back here, struggling to maintain track position. Actually, he should be okay because the rest of the guys behind him are multiple laps down. He's just struggling with the handling of that race car. But the battle is up here at the front. You can see 44 kind of gets up the track, tagged the wall. It looked like a little bit there off of turn number 4. Here comes Chandler with the run around the outside. He's going to get a good run off of turn number 4 as DiPiero tries to hang on, but here comes Chandler down to the inside.
Side by side of the corner, slide job here from Chandler, going to take that spot away. DiPiero keeps jumping the cushion in 3 and 4. That's certainly causing the 44 problems and slowing him down. Chandler takes the race lead. 5 laps to go here in the B main. Chandler now a little too high in the corner. He makes it out okay, but certainly not the fast way to do things. You've got to be careful where you place that right rear. He's entering, I think, through a little too much slick, and it's just causing him to run up the racetrack. DiPiero runs way wide on exit.
Yeah, Chandler able to get another good run, starting to drive away a little bit as we go on board with DiPiero. He ran a little bit lower there than Chandler did in 1 and 2, trying to find a different line, trying to do what he can to potentially close in on Chandler. Yeah, but I don't know if he's going to be able to do it. 3 laps to go.
Still watching as DiPiero tries to find something. He's got a little bit of something right there through 1 and 2. Gained a little bit of time back up to Danny Chandler, and he is trying to make this a fight to the end. He's got about 3/10 left to make up to Danny Chandler, and that time a little bit sideways up out of turn 4. Slowed him down a little bit, but this is not over by any means. Throws it off into 1, and he gains a little bit of time back up. Looks like he's good on entry, but he's a little bit shaky on exit.
Yeah, he's trying to do what he can here. He's going to put it around towards the bottom lane in 3 and 4. Messes up a little bit, goes up the track, and I think that's going to solidify it for Chandler.
I think that's it for Jerry DiPiero. He's going to lose this one. Danny Chandler down the backstretch for the final time here in the B main. These guys will all transfer to the A here momentarily. 30 laps of distance there as well. Danny Chandler up out of turn number 4, going to win the B main here for the Cross Series League Racing trip to USA International Speedway, race number 8 on the season. Jerry DiPiero comes in second here in the B main. Then it's Scott Benavidez third, Clayton Elborn fourth, and Lucas Finko, Chet Duranick, Tyler Coates, and Daniel Moon rounding out the field. And just like that, well, we've got a total of 3 races done and dusted. That's a total of, 46 laps. We get to do 30 more here for the A main in just a few moments' time. We get a little bit of warm-up time. We get to see kind of how these guys are feeling. Some of those drivers that didn't have to run through the B main, and some of those drivers who did.
Yeah, it's definitely, like you said earlier in the B main, some of the guys were racing like it was the feature, like they were actually, going for all the marbles. So, if we saw that kind of racing in the B main, I can only imagine what we're going to see here in the feature.
Watching Ryland Pearson turn some laps. That 99 car is oh so quick after coming on the scene lately here in XSLR. And I gotta say, Hayes, this has certainly been, I think, a pretty good night so far. I want to quickly say, you're very new to joining the game with us here at PitStop TV. You're doing a great job this evening, being my backup guy. And I say backup guy, my second, I guess backup vocalist, if you will. Certainly doing a great job. Just want to give you a pat on the back here as we get ready for 30 more laps of now feature racing. And man, I hope you stay with us because we've got a lot of great racing the rest of the season. This is the final time we see them on dirt oval, and you can see just how tacky the racetrack is now. Then we'll move on to the dirt road segment. We talked about that a little while ago. Let's take a look once more at the schedule and what you viewers can expect the rest of the season here with XSLR. There you see, going into Charlotte Motor Speedway for what will be the second time for these guys this season. Yeah, we'll have 2 more trips there, as well as the Phoenix Raceway. And I'm very excited for this next segment. I have wanted here on PitStop TV for a long time to get into some dirt road coverage. We've got a whole month of it coming up. It's going to be really, really exciting. I'm really looking forward to this.
Yeah, dirt road racing and on iRacing is always a lot of fun to do, even if you're not that great at it. It's just something about dirt road that's just so much fun to do. And quickly, I want to say thank you for the compliments there. I really do appreciate it. I'm happy to be here, and I'm really looking forward to the rest of the season. Charlotte. I've actually never driven on the Charlotte Rallycross course or watched a race on it, so it's gonna be new for me watching that race and commentating for it, and especially throughout the rest of the season. So many different changes going on. With this being the final oval race of the season. So got a lot to look forward to over the next couple months. Hope you guys stay tuned with us.
Yeah, I said earlier, I said earlier the final dirt oval, but not just the final dirt oval race, the final oval race at all. From here on out, we are throwing in some right turns for these drivers, and that is going to change things up for many of these guys. I know a lot of these guys are actually really looking forward to changing it up, going to some road courses, and getting in those road course cars. So I really hope Adam Thompson particularly can match his excitement and keep the hype up, because he was one guy that I've talked to a lot that is really excited for the road course portion of the season. We'll see how it all works out beginning next week with some dirt road action. Excuse me, as we get ready for feature action here from the USA International Speedway, we have 15 drivers ready to go feature racing. Let's take a look at all 15 here this evening. Rylan Pearson on pole. He won the pole. He won his heat. He is staying up front. He will lead us to the green flag here in just a couple of laps time. Danny Kelly alongside of him. Starting third place, it's the 69 car of Mike Sorum, Stuart Gray alongside. In the 5th position, the inside of row number 3. Look at this guy, Robert Schwenkler, just ahead of Adam Thompson going into our feature race. The 235 and 244 here on row number 3. Row number 5 gives us row number 4 rather. James Truitt on the inside at 7th, and Bobby Ross on the outside in 8th. And rolling off 9th position for our feature, Danny Chandler with Jerry DiPiero in 10th.
And you can see in the 11th position we have Scott Benavides in the 82, and to his outside we have Clayton Elborn in the number 19. Starting in 12th, starting 13th, we have Lucas Finko in the 007. To his outside in 14th, number 420 of Chet Duranic. And in 15th, rounding out your 15 driver field here tonight, is Tyler Coates in the number 407. And that is it for your starting grid here tonight for this 30-lap feature from the virtual USA International Speedway.
Ready to go back at it, 30 more laps. You can see the track has just kind of lightly been dusted off on the bottom side. It's going to give these guys a lot of grip down there. Everybody's going to fight to get down along that white inside wall. But if they put their left front so much as on that wall, and they get just a little bit of traction down there with that tire, they're going to have a whole lot of problems. And they are going to, well, we'll see a big one here on dirt, I think. If they get just a little bit too low. It's a very fine line you got to run here at USA, especially with these sprint cars. We've seen a lot of action so far, a lot of spills, a lot of mistakes, and I'm sure we're going to see just a few more before this one is done. Thank you so much for joining us here at PitStop TV for round number 8 action with Cross Series League Racing, the final dirt oval race of their campaign. And it's all going to get started out of turn number 4 this time by Ryland Pearson on pole, Danny Kelly second place, and it's Mike Sorum, Stuart Gray, Robert Schwenkler your top 5. The pace truck going to dive down to the safety of pit lane and turn this race over to the hands of Ryland Pearson. The green flag in the air. We're racing at USA. Caution flag already out on the speedway. We've got Danny Kelly all kinds of wadded up, started second place, and he's got a lot of problems along there with Tyler Coates as well. Let's take a look back at it, Hayes.
Yeah, we're gonna have to go and see what happened. Looked like he and trying to look at who that was here. I believe it was him and the 69 machine that made. Actually, no, I think it might have been the 2. Made a little bit of contact. Oh yeah, 2 was trying to kind of, make it through the middle of the corner, and gets up into him just a little bit. They make contact, and that shoots Danny Kelly around. Oh, same for Tyler Coates. He goes for a spin as well. Doesn't appear to be too much damage to either car, but you never know. That definitely, something like that can easily affect the handling of one of these cars.
Here's Tyler Coates' problem with Nexus found on the lane. And, DiPiero and Elborn had problems and collected Tyler Coates down on the bottom side of turn number 2. This lap 1, a lot of troubles already. I said we'd probably see a few mistakes out of some drivers, a couple of more spills before we're done. And, well, it happened pretty quickly, as certainly some drivers having some problems getting going this evening. Ryland Pearson, then the race leader after starting on pole and not having a misstep into turn number 1. Clayton Elborn, he's down in the pit lane, rejoining the race field now as he gets out onto the dirt in turn number 1. And I'm looking around possibly for Stuart Gray. He's still up in the front, so I'm not sure that race control has necessarily come to a verdict, or if they have, it's maybe that there was no malintent or really any issue there with the start of the race, and just that it happens sometimes on these green flag starts with 15 cars going for 30 laps at the USA International Speedway. Stuart Gray still up front. He will hold on to a spot for now, it seems, and pace car lights are off. We're coming to the green flag in just a moment.
Yep, I gotta say, a good-looking car up there in the lead. Raise Energy, a great company sponsoring that car. As we come around to the green flag, have not completed a lap yet, but we will come to begin lap 2 this time by.
Yeah, caution laps do not count in our feature event here with Cross Series League Racing. Certainly a great addition. So we count them there in the B main, make sure we can get that out of the way, even if we do have the problems that sometimes come along with it. But when it comes to feature racing, no, gotta make sure these guys go through each and every lap that they can. 29 laps now, the distance for these drivers out of turn number 4 to turn them loose once more. Ryland Pearson in control. We're off and away. A much cleaner start for the entire field. Ryland Pearson down the backstretch. Very clean so far. A much better start. Schwenkler down to the bottom side of Gray. They're fighting, and Truitt up the racetrack. Thompson going to capitalize.
Yeah, Truitt had to check up from Schwenkler there a little bit, and that's going to cost him a couple of positions. Going to fall back to, looks like, 6th now, behind Adam Thompson. Thompson moving up inside the top 5. As you can see, Mike Sorum running around the middle lane there in 3 and 4, trying to see if he can't run down Pearson.
By the speed shot to complete lap number 3. Thompson working the bottom side of Schwenkler. Almost tags the left rear there of the 235. Slides up, and now it is Truitt capitalizing on Thompson's misstep. He'll go right on by. A slide job there in 3. And now the 48 going to try and take advantage of this issue. Bobby Ross into the mix.
Yeah, it looked like Thompson got a little too low there in the turn. Kind of got around to, the banking there where the transition, from where normally on the asphalt, where as the actual racing surface meets the pit lane exit. It looked like he clipped that a little bit, and that got his car out of shape. He was able to hold it under control, but he lost a spot or two because of it. But he's got time to get back up there.
Up in the front, you've missed nothing. Rylan Pearson over a second lead so far. Boy, does he have this sprint car figured out. Hopefully he stays around for the dirt road portion. I'd like to see the transition there for driver 99. Down the front stretch to complete lap 6, though, Mike Sorum starting to get a bit of a threat here. Stuart Gray starting to encroach on that second place spot, and you can see the 2 car has his wing positioned rather far forward. That's changing the balance of this race car. That's going to free him up. That's going to allow him to attack.
Yeah, I tell you what, that's, for somebody who's virtually talentless in sprint cars, I gotta tell you, that's impressive to me, seeing these drivers able to have the wing that far forward with how loose of a condition that can be. Definitely impressive for Gray, holding on to that 3rd position. Mike Swarm trying to run the inside line to see if he can't close in. As you can see, Truett and a lot of these other drivers throughout the field having battles throughout for, looks like about the I think that's the 8th position between DiPiero and Chandler.
Yeah, that battle that just wrapped up in the B main, it's going once more in the A main as Chandler works the top side now. DiPiero, so switch things up in the end of the B main. Then you got Bobby Ross up ahead and Scott Benavidez in the challenge as well. Oh, and he almost gets up into the wall. He might have tagged it just a little bit with the right rear, but keeps racing. Let's take his on board as he works the top side, jumps the cushion a bit. These guys, wow, in the back, they are really running up the racetrack. Now, later in the race, they'll probably wear enough of that loose dirt out that they can actually run up there, but right now, there's just so little grip when you run through the loose stuff. It's really not beneficial to run up there. They are pushing the limits so far and getting very, very close to the outside wall at mid-corner. DiPiero does it again. That's what we saw him do in the B main. They are really pushing the racetrack.
Yeah, they really are. Early on here, this time by will complete lap 11, 19 laps remain. We got a good green flag run going here. We'll see if we can continue
Adam Thompson problems.
Oh,
James Truett.
Right
oh
as
my
I said,
gosh.
Oh man. Oh, he is spinning like a top there. Multiple guys up on their lids. That's the 22, and I think you said Adam Thompson as well.
The 244 and the 40. The 244 and the 22 involved in this one, and I'm glad these are virtual sprint cars because we
no kidding.
We'd have a problem here if they weren't. Adam Thompson, I saw him side by side and battling with Robert Schwinkler on timing and scoring, so I wanted to check it out, and Schwinkler drove away right there. Thompson, what happens here? That's what happens.
Whoa.
Gets tail whipped there, driving in the grass. That's not how that's going to work. And,
oh
my gosh. And nowhere for Chandler to go.
Yeah, like you said, it's a good thing these are virtual because those were multiple very hard hits for both drivers, especially Adam Thompson. And I think that's going to, I saw he had the toe there, so I think that might end his streak here tonight.
It's looking like it just might. James Truett, this is his on board. You can see he actually moved the wing back there in the middle of the corner, so he was making that adjustment to tighten up his car. And then, blindsided. Absolutely blindsided. Oh my gosh.
Just nowhere to go. He had what? That's a second at most of reaction time. And that's not enough time to, for your mind to comprehend what to do. So just nothing that he could do, and he was unfortunately one of the victims of this incident. Definitely a very hard crash here early on. Not a good situation for either of these guys.
I like our buddy Adam Thompson, but man, I think he was just digging for something that was never going to go right. He stayed in the throttle, well, maybe not stayed in the throttle, but certainly there's no way to save it. And we'd have to go back there and overanalyze that probably to really see what he did from our standpoint and try and figure it all out. But just a really unfortunate situation. Contact there with Robert Schwinkler, threw him down on the bottom side of that grass there along the front stretch. And that was really, really violent. There was no saving that race car once he was down on the grass like that. Sprint cars, they might have dirt tires that have some grooves and allow them to obviously race on dirt where slicks wouldn't work. But that doesn't mean there's grip in the grass. It doesn't quite work that way. So, big problems there for Adam Thompson. And a big, I'm going to say it one more time, big crash on the front stretch. But hey, lap number 12, now 30 coming to lap 13. We're going to restart the race next time, it looks like. Pace car light's still out.
Yeah, I won't say anything anymore throughout the rest of the race if we do have a green flag run going, because right as I mentioned it, we had that wreck. So I won't say anything anymore, but we're going to go back green here. Looks like with 18 laps remaining, that 99 machine still got speed in that car. We'll see if he can pull away once again.
if you're out there watching along with us, of course, no matter where you're watching from, at least Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch, you can interact with us. Let us know where you're watching from. Let us know who you're pulling for this evening as we work round number 8 of Cross Series League Racing action here from the USA International Speedway in virtual Lakeland, Florida. Getting ready to go at it one more time. This will be lap 13 of 30 once we get back going. Ryland Pearson, your race leader, then it's Mike Sorum and Stuart Gray. The green flag flies, we're back at it. Kind of a slow start there from the front of the field, but we'll go at it, and there goes Stuart Gray immediately to second place. Sorum with a challenge. He's going to go down to the bottom side. As he throws a slider, he tries, but Stuart defends and doesn't really give him enough of a window to do so. Stuart Gray drives down the front stretch and off and away from the 69, battling in behind.
Yeah, Stuart Gray seems to be putting it all on the table right now, really going for every position he can get, as we have a battle for fourth between Chandler and Schwenkler. Chandler now under fire from Ross in the number 48 machine, trying to see if he can get up inside the top 5. When he gets a little bit loose there off of 4.
Bobby Ross falls back then to 6th spot. Danny Kelly in tow. And how about that for Danny Kelly? Recovering from that lap 1 mishap, he is back into the top 10, coming up to halfway this time by Clayton Elborn in tow. These guys battling for about 6th, 7th, 8th on the racetrack. And Bobby Ross a little bit slow there through 3 and 4. Here comes the 19.
Yeah, the 19 got a good run. He gets another good run off the wall there on the outside, and he should be able to clear Kelly. Actually, not quite. Kelly's going to make a dive bomb move here into 3 and 4, trying to kill 2 birds with 1 stone. Gets into the 48 a little bit, but it's going to get him cleared.
Here comes Adam Thompson still in this. A massive slider down to the bottom side. I'm impressed with that 244. Right back in this race. He's not out yet. Here comes Bobby Ross, though, back to challenge into 3, and Ross stays in behind. You can see they've worked the groove higher up the racetrack, so we're starting to be able to use the entirety of these very wide corners here at USA, but not quite the entirety of it. Now, wow, Ryland Pearson, 1.7, working on 1.8 seconds ahead of the entire field. And he's got lap traffic in the form of Chet Naranik up ahead. Look at the gap here from Stuart Gray up to Ryland Pearson. He's that black and purple machine, very small up ahead. This is incredible.
Yeah, I tell you what, we haven't even gotten 10 laps in, and already that 99 machine is whipping that car all the way around this racetrack, putting up good times, and continuously pulling away from Spencer Gray. He is fast tonight, man. I tell you what.
Caution flag is out. 19 slow in turn 3. And this is Clayton Elborn in that metallic red number 19. Let's see what happens to the driver of the number 19. And, oh boy, this is going to be a single car incident for Clayton. This is going to sting a little bit. I'll tell you what, he's going to, oh, actually no, this is sparked by something else entirely. The end of it was single car, and he ends up, there we go, there's the end result. But something else happens in his battles with Bobby Ross, I think it was, and some more of those guys out of turn number 2. Let's see what happens here for Clayton Elborn.
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure what else happened here, but we're going to find out. So you can see he's battling with the 13. He's got the 124 on his inside. And, oh yeah, he gets out of shape. A little bit of contact, I think, was made. Gets out of shape. He goes into the wall there. And just, his car just, he can't quite hang on to it. And he finally pulls his car around, does a 360. And that's what brings out the yellow.
I think he caught the Nerf bar of the 13 machine and just kind of unsettled the balance of the car. And I think that just threw him into, fishtailing. I can't think of the word. But he was trying to save the car and just couldn't quite get it. Tank slapper, there we go. Threw him into a tank slapper, couldn't quite catch it. And at that point, already on the top groove of the racetrack, he had no room with which to work. Slammed the car to the outside wall a couple of times and gives us our newest caution flag. Again, a massive shout out, a massive thank you to the series partners, Nexus Fab, Dangerous, Laketown Creations, Crohn's and Colitis Foundation, and Allied Esports Racing Series, as well as our own here, Tucson Sound Art, Race Pace Setups, Permanent Makeup at Cryo in Maine, and Whiplash Media.
Yeah, so we're going to go back green here next time by with 10 laps remaining. And, you know, we've seen the 2 car be aggressive on these restarts, but we'll see if he can do anything with this 99 with how fast the 99 has been. He's going to have 10 laps to make something happen. We'll see if he can.
Interestingly, we've switched to shootout style restarts here for the final 10 laps. Excuse me, and I'd imagine as we get further into this race, if we do have another stoppage of action and we do restart this race, I'd imagine those should be double file shootout style as well. Ryland Pearson, the race leader. Stuart Gray on the outside, Mike Sorum third, Robert Schwenkler third, Danny Chandler fifth, and Robert Schwenkler is fourth, not third. Anyways, coming to the green flag, we'll restart it. Lap 21 now of 30. A great start from Stuart Gray, takes over the lead. No, he doesn't.
Yeah, that did not last for very long, but here comes the 69. Oh, and they make contact. 69 goes in front of the field. Big crash here.
Oh my gosh, Mike Sorum. Man, that was...
Oh.
Boy, that was a big hit. That was unfortunate. We saw just so many things happen right there. I'm still a little bit speechless, a little bit stunned from that restart as a whole. We'll try and diagnose all of it for you as usual. We saw Stuart Gray get a great restart at first, then Ryland powered back. Here comes Mike Sorum, and oh, there it is.
Oh.
So Stuart Gray caught Mike Sorum.
Oh
my gosh, Schwenkler. There was even contact from the back. Oh boy.
Yeah, Schlenkler hit the inside wall very hard and then spun around like a top there down the back straightaway. And actually, we saw a couple of guys further back. I'm not sure who it was, but they both made contact and spun around at the back of the field as well. So a couple of different situations that brought out this yellow. Let's go on with Robert Schwenkler here. And I'd say his part of the wreck was the most violent.
That was Bobby Ross further back that had some contact with, boy, I can't quite tell, DiPiero on the 44. So you see what happens there to Schwenkler. Let's see what happens then to Bobby Ross and try and get kind of just a decent idea of everything that happens here under our most recent caution flag. And here we go. Here's the restart once more.
Yeah, so you can see Bobby Ross just kind of hanging around at the back of the pack here, running the outside lane, and then gets hooked there by the 44, and then that causes a kind of a domino effect. They have to check up behind, and they all kind of get into each other and go for a spin.
And that was James Truitt further involved in all of that mess out of turn number 2. Certainly a treacherous backstretch run for these guys. What's interesting, hey, look at this. At the time of caution,
oh yeah,
we scored, well, timing and scoring, scored the 2 of Stuart Gray in front of Ryland Pearson. This changes everything about this race moving forward. You can see the 2 car in front. This is huge. This is huge.
It really was. That was a timely caution for that number 2 car. We'll see if he can hold on to that lead. He's going to have to do it for 9 laps, which frankly, I think that's enough time for Pearson to make a run at him and get by, but we'll see if the 2 can hold him off.
That is absolutely more than enough time, I think, for Ryland Pearson if he's got something to put the kibosh on what is now a race lead here for Stuart Gray. They'll double up, shootout style one more time. We'll have 9 laps to go. Once we do go back green flag racing, we might be staying... Oh, okay. Pace car lights are not extinguished yet. Oh, my.
Oh.
The 99 is being thrown back. I don't know about that one. I think they might have got the wrong guy.
I think you might be right, as I haven't seen him do anything wrong.
No, he
that
was
would warrant
clear
a
out.
penalty.
He was clear ahead of everybody. I think they got the wrong guy here. I think he was expecting... I think Race Control was expecting Stewart to still be second place. Ryland did nothing wrong here. We saw it on the replay. No contact for the 99. I'm not sure what this is all about.
Yeah, I really don't know either, but that's really going to hurt the 99. He's going to be forced to the back of this pack. So now instead of seeing if 9 laps is enough time to go from second to first, we'll see if 9 laps is enough time to go from, looks like, I can't tell what position he's in, 12th, I believe, to the lead.
So Stuart Gray, still ahead of the race field. This is interesting.
Yeah.
I'm not really sure how this is going to shake out from here. Obviously, we're going to find out as we go back green flag racing this time. We've got Duranic speeding up to the inside of the field here. We'll see what he does. Looks like he's just trying to rearrange himself in with the pacing field. So, 9 laps to go this time by Stuart Gray, now in control of the field. You see the green flag in the air, waiting on the signal, waiting for it to start flying. There we go. Green flag is out. We're back racing at USA. Stuart Gray, he did the exact same thing there. Got a little bit sideways out of 2, but holds on to the race lead. There's spinning in behind, and Benavidez is around. Scott Benavidez troubles back here. It looks like it's going to collect Truitt and Duranic as well. Scott Benavidez, rather, we'll take a look back. We'll see what happens to the number 82. And I'll tell you what, I still think they got the wrong guy on that previous call. It's going to involve none other than Ryland Pearson.
Oh man, let's see how this happened. See, there's the 82 on the outside, and I guess they had to check up. It's really, and that causes Pearson to get into the back of the 82 and spin him around. To just be a quick spin though, and I think that's going to be about it.
Yeah, Lucas Finko had a problem on the bottom side of the racetrack on that restart. Let's take a look back, and it seems like a few of these guys have been fighting the balance of their race cars where they're trying to put too much wheel into it to turn. They're a little bit too tight. And I think that that's the opposite of the problem here. He was tight on the restart, and then out of 2 got way too loose and just slowed way down. I think jumped out of the throttle and checked up in front of Benavidez and Pearson. And Stuart Gray is still in control of this field. So I will have to talk with race control and try and figure out what's gone on here at the end to put Ryland Pearson in the back of the field and Stuart Gray up front.
Yeah, definitely going to have to be a discussion for the admins to try to see if we can't figure out what warranted that penalty. But definitely benefited the 2 car. He's going to have 8 laps to try to hold off Mike Sorum, who has made his way back up to the front, as well as the number 13. And we'll see if we go green from here to the end, or will we get another caution?
Yeah, I'm wondering what we missed up here with Ryland Pearson. I can't think of anything Ryland would have done wrong, but hey, he's got a mountain to climb now. He's got his work made out for him, and we'll see what the 99 can do. He sits in 10th spot now as we pace here at the USA International Speedway. And still, if you're out there watching on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, let us know where you're watching from, who you're pulling for. We love talking to you guys, interacting with you guys that are watching, and just having a nice little conversation while we have these breakages of action here on PitStop TV. It's always fun to talk to our viewers and kind of interact with them. And we've had those moments before where, actually, it looks like we're going green flag racing, but yeah, just where we've had a cat getting in on the fun, kind of, I don't know, in the background of the mic, and we love talking to those guys watching. Out of turn number 2, off the restart, Gray does the exact same thing, gets loose out of 2, and comes down the racetrack. He's got to be careful about that because he's almost hit 3 different guys now on 3 different restarts, and a caution flag again.
Oh, man. All right, let's see who this is for. Might have been for the 19 or actually Robert Schwenkler.
Like.
All right, let's go to the replay here and see if we can't figure out what happened to Robert Schwenkler in that number 235. So here we are on the restart and trying to see if something maybe happened ahead of him. He gets a little bit slow on the restart, but see they actually make some contact. The 82 checks up ahead of him, gets sideways, so he has to check up. 82 gets sideways again and comes back up the track into him. Oh man, he goes for a spin down the back and gets hit hard by the 007, and the 420 goes for a spin as well.
And yeah, as we've got one viewer talking about on Twitch saying yellows breed yellows, that's exactly right.
Yep.
That's what happens here. You get into a couple of caution flags, and suddenly you're towards the end of the race. You have a chance for everybody to be bunched back up, and everybody thinks they can go out there and grab a few more spots, and they absolutely can. But unfortunately, it's just not going to happen when we have these incidents like this. So we've got to kind of get a lap or 2 under our belts first, and then these guys start battling. Hopefully we can do so this time by. But that same fan is also cheering on the 244 of Adam Thompson from I don't know if it's our Aussie fan or Adam Thompson's Aussie fan, but I think we'll just say both right now. Adam Thompson is actually sitting in 5th for this restart. And Thompson, he's had a decent night, actually, recovering from a big issue earlier on with contact with Schwenkler and then a big crash with Truett and some more. So Thompson in a decent spot to work himself back up even further north than the 5th position currently.
Yeah, he is starting to work his way back out there as we're going to come to the restart here with 7 laps to go. Will we get another caution, or will it play out under green flag conditions? That's one of the main questions we're asking right now, and that will be answered here shortly. So, come to the green flag, the 2 is still the leader.
We'll take the green flag momentarily. Stuart Gray in control of the field. We'll see how it all shakes out. We've got 7 laps to go out of 30 here at the USA International Speedway. This is round 8 of Cross Series League racing action, and Stuart Gray leading the way again. Does he come back down the racetrack out of 2? Not so bad this time in Sorum Challenges.
Tell you what, that was a good restart for Adam Thompson. He's up into the 3rd position. Mike Sorum, sorry. A good run there through 3 and 4. He's going to take the lead. Now Adam Thompson right behind these guys as they're side by side looking to take advantage of this battle.
A great look at this battle for the race lead as Stuart Gray gets a great drive off of the corner and is going to lead the way down to turn number 3. Gray back up in front and working that top side, which I think is definitely faster than the bottom. Thompson going to take 2nd place away. Can Adam Thompson suddenly come back and take his 6th win straight on the season? It could happen in just a few more moments. The last time by the stripe was 5 to go, now 4.5 as we work to turn number 3.
I tell you what, that would be one crazy story to get that 6th win in a row after flipping and having a violent crash earlier in the race. But he has made his way back up here in contention to win this race. And I'll tell you what, even if he doesn't 2nd place after what happened earlier, that would be phenomenal.
A bit of a misstep there out of turn number 2 for Sorum. He's going to lose some time now to Ryland Pearson. This is a great battle suddenly for 3rd spot. Here comes Pearson. He's going to motor right on by the 69. And the 2 that started up in the front on the bottom side, I believe it was Pearson first, and Sorum started 3rd on the bottom side of row number 2. Well, they are now battling once more, and Pearson going to take that spot away. Stuart Gray coming to take 2 laps to go, and the 2 car in control.
Yeah, and I tell you what, another guy that has made a good comeback is Pearson. He's been able to work his way back up inside the top 3, but you know that's not good enough for him with how good he's been doing in this race. He wants to win, but I believe they're going to make it to the white flag. Doesn't look like it's going to happen tonight, but he is closing in on Thompson.
Final lap opportunities here for everybody in the field. Stuart Gray leading into 1. He's got over a half second back to Adam Thompson, but the slightest misstep on the outside in turns 3 and 4 could change this race entirely. Thompson slow down the backstretch. It'll be a race for 2nd place. Meanwhile, Stuart Gray is going to walk away and win at the USA International Speedway. There it is. 2nd place goes to Ryland Pearson, coming back from an odd penalty that we see, and Ryland Pearson will take the 2nd position. Adam Thompson hangs on for 3rd. Finally, a new winner here in the Cross Series League Racing 2021 season. It's going to go to Stuart Gray. How about the number 2 car? We saw him really fast in that, what was it, the 2nd heat? The 2 car was flying all night long.
Yeah, he definitely was fast, and gotta think that's definitely going to be frustrating for Pearson. Led most of the race, was by far the fastest one in my opinion, and he comes up just short. He got a great drive back up there towards the front, just comes up 1 spot short. But hey, 2nd place, as much as I'm sure he's frustrated, still definitely not a bad finish by that 99 machine.
By all means, a great finish for the entire top 3, and certainly some great comeback stories this evening. Can't wait to talk to our top 3 drivers. The podium finisher is going to be some great conversations here in a moment. We'll take a step away. We'll be right back to you. We'll rejoin you here from the USA International Speedway in virtual Lakeland, Florida. Do not go anywhere. We've got post-race coverage just on the far side of this quick post-race break. We'll be right back at PitStop TV.
Sound Art is a product that is a speaker and it's art. We combine it together and we call it Sound Art. What makes it so unique that any picture can be your speaker? Sound Art gives you the high quality sound without the ugly speaker. This isn't a picture with a speaker, the picture is the speaker. Just imagine your wedding picture uploaded onto a canvas and now it's speaking 10,000 tunes. I mean, it's a very cool concept. What we like so much about it that you can take anything that means something very special to you, upload it on the canvas, have it hanging up in your room, your balcony, wherever you want to put it, and now it's a speaker. I mean, how cool is that? It's something that we have that and no one has. No one has this product. It's just a great gift to give anybody. It's just a neat concept. Around here we say, art never sounded so good.
After months of quarantine, we're all interested in how we can become our best self. The team at Permanent Makeup and Cryo is here to help you get the flawless makeup look every day without the extra effort or time. When it comes to your appearance, you deserve the best care that money can buy.
Welcome back to the virtual USA International Speedway. We just saw a great night of racing, of course, from Cross Series League Racing, round number 8 on their season. This marks halfway for these drivers, and it marks the first new winner that we've been able to crown here at PitStop TV in XSLR. Let's take a look. Well, not take a look. We'll take a talk here with race winner Stuart Gray. And Stuart, how about this? This is your first race. I saw you joined the Discord a little while ago today, and you're already in victory lane.
Yeah, that was crazy. I mean, that was kind of bad for Rylan there on that EOL, but it was, I mean, nothing bad on the call, but it was just unfortunate. But yeah, he ended up getting to second with that nasty slider in 3 and 4.
I got to ask, we saw the move then for Rylan Pearson to the back end of the field, and you stayed up front and then, well, took the race lead out of it.
Yeah.
What did you hear from your point of view? We were, I'll just say, flabbergasted up in the tower.
Oh yeah, my entries weren't very good, so I started entering on the top, and I was riding up on the top, and that was fast. I'm not sure what happened to the Pink Panther down there, but I'm not sure if he got squirrely and he dropped back. But I mean, there's nobody in my rear view for half straightaway.
So you get your first win here in your first start, but this is the final time of racing on dirt ovals. Are you prepped for dirt road?
I might give dirt road a shot, yeah.
We've got Pro 2 lights the next 2 weeks, then rallycross cars, both at Charlotte and Phoenix. If you do decide to run, and I definitely think you should, how do you feel with the Pro 2 lights next week at Charlotte?
Never really raced a Pro 2 light, so I might have to jump in some test drives and see if I can pick it up.
By all means, Stuart, congratulations this evening. 6 laps led. You led them when you needed to. Who do you have to thank? Who do you have to shout out? Who makes it happen for you?
Rylan Peterson, man. He's the man.
So Stuart Gray giving shout out to his competitor, I'd imagine teammate as well then, Rylan Pearson. Thanks so much for your time, Stuart. Go ahead.
Alrighty, thank you very much. And Helms.
Gotcha.
Discord.
Gotcha. Thank you so much for your time, Stuart. Congratulations. We'll talk to you next time.
Alright, sounds good. Thank you, guys.
Stuart Gray picking up the victory this evening at the USA International Speedway. We'll move on down then to his teammate, Rylan Pearson. And Hayes, I'll hand it off to you.
All right, I'm here with the number 99 machine of Rylan Pearson, coming home second tonight, but by far, I'd say you were the fastest one tonight, man. I'm sure it's frustrating, but overall, how did your race go for you?
Well, the car felt real nice. The setup, it was just locking up. I barely had to get the wing back. I just felt hooked up the entire time. It does suck about that EOL in the beginning, but it was pretty good. I'm very happy with that finish.
Yeah, for sure. You put up a stellar performance tonight, led over half the lap, 17 to be exact, and you were able to drive up there to the second spot. Just couldn't quite get him on the last lap, but next week, the schedule completely changes. We head to the Charlotte Rallycross course in the Pro 2 lights. A completely, different transition other than the fact that it's dirt heading into that race. With the good performance you had tonight, what are your plans heading into that?
Well, I've never raced Pro 2s before, and I've done a few officials. I think I've come out with a few wins, but it's going to be a lot different. I'm a dirt predominant guy. That's pretty much all I've raced since I got iRacing about 3 months ago. So.
All right, man. So so finally, do you have anybody you want to thank for this race tonight?
Yeah, I want to thank Pay to Win Setups. That's a setup shop I race for. I want to thank 490 Designs. They do some of the best wraps I've seen. You can check them out on Facebook. And then HRI, my team I race for, Helms Racing. He brought me on, and it's been great ever since.
All right, man. Well, thank you for your time, and congrats. You performed amazing tonight, and can't wait to see you next week, man.
Thank you.
All right, we'll hand it back up to Andrew.
Excuse me, we'll start things off then with third place, or I guess continue things with third place, Adam Thompson. You see, Adam, I'm so used to starting these interviews off with you, I even said we're going to start things off. Not quite the first place we're used to with you, Adam. Third place this evening, but you had a couple opportunities to mix things up in the front. How'd it go for you?
Well, I mean, I'm telling you what, Andrew, I told you yesterday, we had a couple young kids come in here, youngins, and I had a feeling they were going to give me a run for my money, and they did. It was an unbelievable race. I would take that over first any day. That slider that Rylan pulled there at the end was the coolest thing I've ever seen. I didn't even see him coming. That's the coolest thing I've ever seen. Congratulations to Rylan and Stewart for that 1 and 2. That was amazing. What a fun race.
Absolutely. I mentioned it at the top of the show, the fact that you and I were talking, and you knew there was great competition coming in, changing things up with the final oval race out of the first 8. So halfway in the season now. You've got half of the season to go, all with a few extra right turns thrown in, even though you're kind of turning right in the corners tonight. How do you feel about Pro 2 lights next week? Charlotte's going to be tough.
I'm telling you, these Pro 2 lights, I'm going to have to get a lot of practice at. The Pro 2 lights and the rally cars both. I'm telling you right now, Robert Schwinkler he's gonna run away with that. We've run a few practices, and he's quick in those. I'm just going to have to get some practice in and try it. I've got such a lead right now. I'm just trying to hold it. And again, this third place, I'm totally happy with tonight. But, I want more. Everybody wants more. You always want to win.
Absolutely. So the 244 comes in this evening in the third position when it's all said and done. And I promise you, buddy, it will be easier to save a car when you're dead sideways on the front stretch in the rallycross cars. So just get ready for those. It'll be easier to save, I promise. Congratulations on the top 3. Who did you thank?
I'm going to thank all the sponsors, Laketown Creations, again, for putting this on, helping us put it on. Dangerous, Nexus Fab, Allied Esports, Crohn's and Colitis Foundation through Chet Duranick. He's doing so much. But I'm going to give a special shout out tonight. My grandparents and my whole family, Dave, Donna, Drew, Monica, Leah, Rowan, everybody's watching the race tonight, and they got to watch me finish third, which isn't what I wanted, but hey, I got it. So thanks everybody for watching, and I'm so looking forward to getting out of these dirts and getting into something else. Please, let's get into something else.
Keeping things dirty, but a little bit of pavement in the next few weeks for this Cross Series League racing effort. Thanks so much for your time this evening, Adam. Congratulations in third place.
Thanks, Andrew. I had a blast, and hey, thank you guys for doing this again. It's so much fun.
Absolutely. Thanks for having us. That's what makes it all possible. And as you mentioned, a big thank you to the league partners, Nexus Fab, Dangerous, Laketown Creations. I got to thank your Crohn's and Colitis Foundation through, like you said, Chet Duranick. And, of course, down at the bottom of our little pylon when we have it, Allied Esports Racing Series. Thanks so much, Adam. We'll talk to you next time.
All righty. Thank you, man. Have a good one.
Adam Thompson wraps things up in the third position. And boy, I always like talking to drivers at the end. I say this a lot. It's always just a lot of fun to be able to hear from them, see how things went from their point of view, and just get a few extra thoughts on the broadcast. So I really, really appreciate each driver's time at the end of these races to talk to us about their performances. Stuart Gray is going to wrap things up atop the scoring pylon, changing things up finally, and will give Adam Thompson a run for his money this evening, putting Adam Thompson to third place. Ryland Pearson recovers to second, but as you said, Hayes, in that interview, easily the fastest car on the racetrack this evening. By all means, Ryland Pearson, I think, had that one wrapped up, if not for what happened out of turn number 2. Mike Storm finishes fourth, Danny Chandler in fifth, James Truitt there in sixth. He recovers pretty nicely as well. Then Tyler Coates hanging on for seventh spot. How about that for the 407? Bobby Ross in eighth, Jerry DiPiero hangs on for ninth, and Lucas Finco rounds out the top 10.
Yeah, and then just outside of the top 10, we have Danny Kelly in the number 121, bringing it home in P11. Scott Benavidez brings it home in 12th. Robert Schwenkler in 13th. Clayton Elborn in the number 19. He definitely had some trouble throughout the night. He will finish 14th. And rounding out the 15-driver field here tonight will be the number 420 of Chet Durenick.
So I got to ask you real quick, Hayes, final thoughts this evening as we see an amazing wrap-up to our Dirt Oval segment here with Cross Series League Racing.
Yeah, it was definitely a fun night. We did have some trouble with some cautions in the B main and the A main, but that just kind of, I feel like that comes with the territory of how tough sprint car racing can be, especially with the 360s. It's just, these things are tough to handle, man. It really takes a certain type of skill to be able to perform well in these cars. So, but I tell you what, when we had green flag runs, we definitely had some good racing. It was spread out throughout parts of the field, but there was always a few parts with drivers that were battling for positions. They were all scratching and clawing for every position they can get, and that's what you want to see in races like these.
Absolutely. I think tonight was a great contrast from the last couple of weeks. Kind of a slow start with those street stocks. They're pretty difficult to handle sometimes. They can get away from you in some weird ways. So that was a little bit interesting at Lima Land. Eldora last week was just really fast, but we've seen great racing every step of the way when we were able to stay green flag, and that absolutely was amplified this evening. Amazing racing here at USA International Speedway. That's why I like this place. It's a little bit wonky, a little bit difficult at first, but once you do figure this place out, it is ever rewarding to do so. Hayes, once more, I want to thank you for joining me up here this evening. Looking forward to the back half of the schedule, what race stands out to you? What race do you think is one to watch?
Oh, man. They all stand out to me. I think, all of these races, Charlotte, Phoenix, and Charlotte and Phoenix again with the Beetles, the Subarus, and the Ford Fiestas, those races are definitely going to be interesting to watch. And then we head to Spa, I believe, in the Delaras. That's going to be a big transition as well. Open wheel cars, and then from there we head to 2 weeks in a row in the Miatas at Lime Rock and Summit Point, and then to sum up the season we have WeatherTech Raceway in the Spec Racers. So no specific race really stands out to me. I think they all stand out.
Yeah, by all means, I think a lot of great racing on the way. We've been saying it each and every week to this point. Going to change things up big time beginning next week at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. Before we depart this evening, of course, a massive, a huge thank you, a very important thank you to our partners here at PitStop TV. These broadcasts also always brought to you by Tucson Sound Art. Grab your wall-mounted sound art device today by using promo code PitStopTV for 10% off of your order at checkout. Go to TucsonSoundArt.com. Also brought to you by Race Pace Setups. Use that Discord link in the bottom right to join Race Pace Setups Discord server, and you can grab your possibly race-winning setup for this weekend's iRacing 12 Hours of Sebring. We're using one at Whiplash Racing. You should be too. Make sure to check out Race Pace Setups. Also by Permanent Makeup and Cryo in Maine, where you deserve the best care that money can buy. Check them out on Facebook, check them out on Instagram, check them out at their website, permanentmakeupinmaine.com, to learn more about how you can book a consultation and what you can get done today. Also by Whiplash Media, the official camera and graphic provider of PitStop TV. Thank you so much for tuning in this evening. This does conclude our coverage tonight of Cross Series League Racing at USA International Speedway. PitStop TV thanks you for tuning in and joining us for tonight's action, and we hope you enjoyed tonight's broadcast. The channel stays active weekly, and you can catch a variety of racing throughout the coming days. Tomorrow evening, for example, the BRP iRacing series continues the early 2021 season of racing from Wisconsin's Cedar Lake Speedway. IORL is back on the platform for the first time in the new year with the 2 hours of Sebring on Wednesday evening, and LTAC will take the 2021 tour to Kansas Speedway on Friday evening before Cross Series League Racing does it all again in 1 week's time, but this time with Pro 2 lights at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Make sure to follow us on Facebook at www.facebook.com/PitStopTV, on Twitter at PitStopTV_, on Twitch at www.twitch.tv/Pit_Stop_TV, and on YouTube at www.youtube.com/C/PitStopTV1. For all of PitStop TV, Hayes Booth with me on the mic, Trey Shuttlesworth on our social media duties. I'm Andrew Cardinale IV. Thank you, and we will see you next time. Have a great night.